How long did you study Japanese and the other subjects in a day? For me, Japanese, on average, there were like 2 Japanese subjects per day. And aside from that, I also tried to study for 2 hours aside from class. So in total, like 5 hours for Japanese. Well, that 2 hours was mostly writing kanji over and over again. Because I started like Shokyuni, beginner 2. So at that time, I didn't know a lot of kanji, but I liked kanji. So I wanted to like perfect the kanji, so I wrote it over and over again for 2 hours. And for the other subjects, chemistry, I took 1 hour there. It was mostly review for me because I had a background in chemistry. For physics, it took longer because I was bad at physics then, so an extra 2 hours. Well, that wasn't every day though. So it was like 2 hours every other day and 1 hour every other day for chemistry. And for math, I like math, so I tried to spend a lot of time on it too. So I also took the advanced math, the class that introduced the test questions from the actual Kyoto University entrance exam. So looking over that gave me an extra 2 hours per week, I guess. So around that. Right. What about Fauzan?
Oh, it's during the preparatory course, right?
Yeah, preparatory course.
Well, in my case, to be honest, I don't think I really studied outside of class, so yeah, it's maybe just like 3 classes a day. That's like 4.5 hours. Yeah.
I agree with Farzan. I try to study, concentrate in the class as much as possible so I don't have to study afterwards. If you keep thinking that you can study after class, you don't actually concentrate on the concept your teacher talking about in the class. So I try to concentrate and understand everything teacher's saying. So after that, I have very few questions left, so I can do it on my own.
Next question. How well did your Japanese proficiency improve after completing the 6-month preparatory course? Okay, so I started in elementary too, but I felt like in the 6-month period of the preparatory course, my Japanese improved from can barely form a single sentence in Japanese to like can write an essay detailing my thoughts on a certain subject. Because when they say intensive Japanese course, they really do mean intensive Japanese course, but not as such as that, in the boring way. One really good thing about the Japanese courses in Kyoto, the Kyoto iUP preparatory course, is that they're offered in Japanese. So it's not a Japanese course in English. It's Japanese taught in Japanese. So you're really forced to use Japanese from the get-go. And aside from that, I had like a kanji class, a conversation class, and a grammar class. But aside from that, there's an iUP specific class that's specifically for writing essays. I thought it was pretty advanced I just started Japanese, but I think being forced, quotation marks, to do that really made my Japanese level improve so much faster than I could ever imagine. So what about you guys?
So about me, I started from elementary to 2, so I could barely write the Japanese alphabet, and I can barely like introduce myself. And after 6 periods of the intensive course, when I arrived in Japan, because I took the class online due to COVID, when I arrived, I was surprised by myself when I saw the Japanese sign and I was like, I can read that actually. I can understand what, when I went to a restaurant, when I went to the supermarket, I can understand what they meant and know what to reply.
So for me, it was more about writing kanji. Before, I didn't have many chances to write kanji. It's just how I read it. So I just focus more on just reading kanji. But this time, I'm more focused on writing kanji. And whenever I hear Japanese words from native speaker, I try to make that word into kanji in my head as possible so I can study kanji outside of the class. So after started taking my Simon class, I understood like pretty much everything professor says. So that was the time I realized maybe if I keep doing Japanese, studying Japanese at this rate, maybe I can catch up with my students, Japanese students who study the same subject. So it was very encouraging to me and gave me hope to keep studying.
Yeah, I think, well, you guys have said most of it, but I think in my case, I was lucky enough to take the course actually here in Japan, face to face. So I think that also helped me because I get to interact with people in just my daily life, going to the supermarket or things like that. So that's also helped me in improving my Japanese proficiency. Yeah.
Okay, next question is, okay, we talked about the Japanese classes last time, but here, how were the foundation subjects of the preparatory course? I think this is different for the science people and the humanities people. For the science courses, I took, well, we both took, right? Chemistry, physics, and math. And I think they were fun actually. The math course, I really liked it because it was a spin on subjects I knew before, but it was viewed in a different light. So I really liked that aspect of mathematics in general, but I like that Kyoto iUP brought that to its subject. And for chemistry, well, I like chemistry, so it was a given that I'd like chemistry. And for physics, okay, admittedly, I struggle with physics, even though I struggle with physics. But my teacher during that, he was really patient with all my questions. Like, sir, can you explain this question I asked? And he always answers me, even if I think I get really annoying with all my questions. So yeah, I think anyone who likes these three subjects will have a fun time with the foundation subjects. So what about the humanities people?
So for my major, I don't have any foundation course, so I can't say anything.
Lucky?
That's very lucky for you.
Is that lucky?
No, I don't think so. I didn't have any chance to talk to other students because I was taking classes online. So only way to communicate with other students was taking foundation courses, which I didn't have. So it was a bit sad.
Yeah, well, in my case, I got a political economy class. Yeah. I guess in the start, I was quite struggling with because we got some readings in Japanese, and at that time I was still elementary too, and I could barely read any sentences. So it was quite challenging. But I guess in hindsight, it kind of helped me in exposing me to some of the kinds of reading and the kinds of words that I'll encounter more when I'm in my faculty classes. Yeah.
Oh, in your faculty, right? From first year, you take classes in Japanese.
Oh, that's true. I think in social sciences and humanities, it's highly likely for you to start taking Japanese, classes in Japanese from the first semester.
So you would say that kind of exposure helped you with your first year classes?
I guess in a way, maybe it's kind of a shock therapy, but yeah.
Okay, last question on this thing. Okay, what do you remember the most for the preparatory course? Okay, this is an anecdote about something I asked my chemistry teacher. I think it was about alkenes, and then I asked a pretty throwaway question. The teacher admitted that he'll look into it, but I didn't really expect anything to come from it. Maybe this isn't part of the course or anything. But then the next time I went to class, the teacher gave me printed papers related to that question. I was like, oh, so the teacher really took my question seriously. And that was the first time I really felt that Kyoto iUP's teachers really care about their students and that the learning experience is really personalized. So any incoming Kyoto iUP students will really just have to ask and Kyoto iUP will provide or something like that.
So I actually have similar experience. What is most memorable about the prep course was probably teachers putting efforts into ensuring that you learn, because that one time I wasn't feeling really good, so I missed one Japanese class, and the Japanese sensei actually took her own time to record her class again for me and then send me as an email, I feel like, oh my God, she actually ensures so much. She went through great lengths to ensure that I didn't miss anything. And that was one of my most memorable time in the prep course.
Yeah, definitely. I think the teachers here really care about the students. I remember that one time I also had something a bit similar, like I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go to class. And I got like an email from the teacher like asking, oh, are you fine? And it's like, it's not, like, I don't know, I was, in my mind, like in the university, you don't really get that kind of attention from the teachers, but it turns out some of them from Kyoto iUP still do. So that was pretty remarkable, I'd say.
So my memory a bit different from you guys. I actually look forward weekly to the session a lot because we were taking classes in one on ourselves. So sometimes I felt like questioning myself if I'm really studying abroad. Sometimes. So when you talk with other students and Japanese students and professors, teachers, and everyone on the same day every week, it actually makes you keep on track. You have what did you do last week and what can you do next week. So I like that 40 minutes every week.
Kyoto iUP really provides a good support system for students, right?